After the chaos of the wildfire, Shaded Pines Animal Haven begins the slow process of recovery. The air is finally clear, but the sanctuary is still buzzing with activity as the team tends to the injured wildlife and assesses the damage. Despite the challenges, hope arrives in the form of two new faces, Nuka and Tala Takoda, siblings and local indigenous residents with a deep respect for nature and animals, who visit the sanctuary after hearing about the wildfire. Concerned for the animals and inspired by the sanctuary's mission, they approach Sam to offer their help. Their knowledge of the land and wildlife proves invaluable, and Sam is quick to recognize the potential they bring to the team. Moved by their passion and dedication, he eagerly welcomes them aboard. Meanwhile, in the prairie dog exhibit, a joyful surprise awaits. Daisy, the pregnant prairie dog, finally gives birth to a litter of tiny pups. The team is thrilled by the sanctuary's first births, and visitors flock to catch a glimpse of the newest additions. Sarah keeps a close eye on the pups, ensuring they stay healthy and protected in their new world. Hey everyone, Simply Zoological here, and welcome back to the channel. Either way, thank you for joining me for today's episode of Shaded Pines Animal Haven. So as you can see, we're starting off with some simple terrain work for this habitat because I wanted a small river that would run through the entirety of this exhibit itself. But I also wanted different terrain elevations within the habitat besides just the river, so you can also see me working on raising some terrain, lowering some terrain all around, just to help with keeping the eye interested in the habitat as guests are looking at it because of how large it is for the foxes. One of the main reason that it is so large for these foxes is because originally I was going to house I think 3 different nocturnal species in this area, but I quickly decided against it. Now you can see that we are working on the fencing for this habitat. And for this fencing, I used the twilight beams, the twilight door panels, the twilight door frame, mesh, the European cable, and hinges. So again, all very simple pieces. I used the mesh as the viewing window, you could say, and then I used the twilight door frame pieces to add just what you could consider an attachment from the mesh to the wood itself. And then I will take the hinges and add those to the top because when I was doing my research for fox fencing, I found that foxes can jump relatively high. So they need pretty high fences in order to keep them from escaping. So for this, I used the trick that most Planet Zoo players use with the hinge piece or any other small piece and the cable, the small European cable. I think it's the signpost cable, I don't know. It's that piece that you saw right there. And I just use that to, again, use as a jump-proof barrier sort of thing. And then we do make a second variant, which you can see currently, that has no mesh, and it's just a completely solid piece. Because I didn't want the entire habitat to be viewable in certain areas, I wanted 2 different viewing windows, one right across from the moose and the beaver viewing windows, and then the second one over to the left, or to the right, across from the bison and pronghorn exhibit. And then you can see here I added in the water effects and rock work off camera. I just got to building and completely forgot to record, so I just did a quick little shortcut of how it turned out and everything, and I really love how the river turned out. That was my first time doing a river in game so far, and I am absolutely very pleased with myself for that. But here you can see that I am working on the backstage area for the foxes. And I struggled with this so hard. I don't know that I have ever struggled with a building this hard in my entire Planet Zoo career. Because as you saw in the beginning of this video, if you were paying attention, this backstage building was the plain stained wood, as per usual with the rest of the backstage buildings in this zoo so far. And I was looking at it and it was just too flat. I didn't like it. I hated how it looked. So I went to Discord and I messaged, I said, hey, I need some help. And I believe it was Sori who gave the idea of doing a log cabin facade. So the front looks like a log cabin, but the sides and the back are the stained wood. And so I played around with that a little bit, and I am so glad that I did, because I love how this turned out. This was my second time building a log cabin, first time on camera, and I am very pleased with myself and my ability to be able to make this look good. Because you can see I kind of struggled a little bit with the spacing between the log pieces, but I just went in and adjusted them off camera and it turned out perfectly fine. And then here you can see I'm working on a custom roof, because with the way that I made this building, I made it smaller than it technically probably should be. And I couldn't, because if you know Planet Zoo, you know that the on-grid pieces you can only move in as small as 1 meter increments, but as large as 4 meters. And because I used off-grid pieces for the building, it made it a little bit more difficult to make a regular roof or use grid pieces for the roof. So I made a custom roof with the metal girders, and I love how that turned out as well. And then here you can see that we are onto the rock work, and we will soon be moving on to the foliage. And with that being said, I want to go ahead and introduce you to our foxes. So we have a pair of red foxes. We have Ember and Ash. Ash is the male, Ember is the female, who were longtime residents of the forest surrounding Shaded Pines Animal Haven. When the flames tore through their territory, the pair was forced to flee, narrowly escaping with singed fur and minor burns. Disoriented and struggling to find food in the scorched landscape, they were eventually spotted near the sanctuary's perimeter, weak and in need of help. Recognizing their distress, the SPAH team set up humane traps to safely bring them in for medical care. And while their injuries were treatable, the fire had destroyed their home range, leaving them with no safe place to return. With no other options, Sam and the team decided to offer them a permanent home here at the sanctuary, where they could live safely while also educating visitors about the challenges wildlife face due to natural disasters. So these foxes have also been victims of the wildfire we have had the last couple of episodes, and thankfully it did not damage the sanctuary itself, but it did damage some of the animals around the area. So for the next couple of episodes, who knows, we may be getting some more animals who are in need of help or in need of transport. We don't really know. We'll just have to find out. But anyways, that's really all I have for you today. I know this was a quick and short video, but I didn't get much of this build recorded, and I am sorry for that. But I do want to go ahead and sign off. I hope you leave a like, a subscribe, all of that good YouTube stuff, and I will talk to you on the next one. Bye, guys.